In a service marked by divine power and prophetic significance, the bond servant of Christ led a spiritual deployment into the realms of air, land, and water. Kingdom soldiers were commissioned into their divine tribes, the lions, the eagles, and the authorities, each called to walk in identity and assignment. During the second service, the bondservant of Christ, John, declared that 10 eagles would ascend with vision to witness what happened in the Spirit during the inauguration.
Hold him strong. Say, I can do this easily to the eagles because they already have the lens. I've imparted that lens long ago. Now, I want to teleport them into what happened today so that they can see a clear version of what has happened in this service, both in the first and second. So you can understand that. Because it is not fair if I start to say it myself. If I say it, it will be as though, okay, he just made it up. So it's better that the eagles will see what happened, what has transpired in the spirit realms.
This is the account of Saint Jake from Cape Town, one of the eagles who was teleported into the realms by the bondservant of Christ.
My name is Saint Jake from Cape Town, South Africa. As Papa was in the service, when he said,
Eagles, there are 10 of you here that will ascend with a vision immediately.
Immediately when he said
10. 10 of you.
Like I was caught up into this realm. The auditorium, it changed. It was no longer like an auditorium. There was like a gravitational lift to a certain realm where it was no longer the church. There was no longer chairs. There was no longer seats. It was like a mixture. There was like the water, the marine force, the land force there, and also the air force. So what happened was I turned into an eagle. That time it was like I was turned into a normal eagle, and I was in this realm as an eagle flying across. And I met few custodians, and these few custodians were allowed by the bondservant of Christ to actually manifest themselves. And they said they were the spirit of men just made perfect. And they said that 3 times. We are the spirit of the just men made perfect. I had asked them to identify themselves, because this is something that our Papa has always taught us to say, always test every spirit. So then they say themselves, I am Enoch, I am Elijah, I am the Lamb. And as soon as Papa laid his hands on me,
Bel Efrat Estor and Seed. Bel Kiratavad and get a totter as in a fire. A Kenatos Susan. Get Anna. Peritas. A keep to Go.
I was an eagle. But as soon as he laid hand on me, I became an eagle covered with gold. The feathers of my wings all became like swords. Like when I stretched my wings, I was stretching like swords, and I was covered. And then what he did was like he inserted certain kind of lenses into my eyes.
Enter that realm, yes. Interact, see. Thou shalt see from the realm of the air all the way to the sea, to the field. Capture the deployment.
And then from the realm where I was, it's like the realm where I was of the spirit of the man just made perfect was just like the first dimension. And then with the first lens that he gave me took me to another dimension. And that's when I saw different dragons and the different categories of dragons. And then when Papa gave me another lens, I went to now the third dimension, so within like the air. So that's when now I met the great old dragon. He was very surprised because he said, "You found me naked." He was very afraid. And Papa said, "Now, son, I appoint you to take hold of this ram." When I questioned the great old serpent, "Who are you?" He said, "I am the great old serpent." And then I knew what that was. And immediately, like Papa came close to me. When he came close to me, he held my hand and me and him became one. The language that was spoken between Papa and the old serpent, it was very, I can't be able to speak that language, but it's something that I can understand what they were saying. So what was simply happening was, his time is up and his time is short. As this was happening, this saying that his time was up, earthquakes was happening in the marine kingdom, earthquakes was happening in the land, and earthquakes was happening in the air, in the different atmospheres, different realms of the air. After he did that, he disappeared. And then immediately, I was taken into like another realm where an angel appeared, and this angel appeared with a scroll. And then he said he was the angel that carried the presence of the Lord. I knew there is the angel that carries the presence of the Lord. But this angel now was one of the spirits of the just made perfect. It was no longer an angel. It was Elijah that came. He said, "Behold, I present you to the master." So now when he said, "Behold," now Jesus came. The Christ, Yeshua came. And then he had tears in his eyes. And he said, "I've been waiting for a long time. Finally, after generations and generations and generations, a tribe was able to ascend." And he said, "I did not call you to just be born again. I didn't call you to just go to church. I didn't call you to just sing and dance and praise. The initial calling was for you to have dominion." Then he took me back to the Bible. He quoted and he said, "In my word, it is written, when I shall return for the second time, I shall return in the air. I shall be in the air." And he said, "I have been in the air for the past 500 years and nobody knew. I came a long time ago and nobody knew, and nobody was able to ascend." He handed Papa a golden platter. Then when Papa held it, it became into a staff. It was more like a sword, like a sword on the top and a sword at the bottom. Papa held it like this. And then Papa stood next to Yeshua. And then Yeshua congratulated Papa and said, "Congratulations, for you have succeeded to raise the generation that the earnest expectation of creation has been waiting for." So after that happened now, like literally what was happening, it was like every creature in the marine kingdom, they knelt down. Every creature on the land knelt down. Every creature in the air subjected themselves. There was a handover, there was a contract that was signed. And then the great dragon now fell down to the earth. And then it was chaos all over the earth. It was chaos all over the earth. In the marine kingdom, there is actually people there. There are creatures there that haven't heard the gospel of Christ. And people from this ministry that were allocated to be in the realm of the rulers in the marine kingdom were preaching the gospel of Christ to these creatures, which obviously it fulfills the scripture to say the earnest expectation of all creature has been waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. So there are creatures who are in underwater who never rebelled against God that have been waiting for them to hear the gospel of Christ. There are creatures who are on the land that their minds were waiting for the gospel of the Lord of Jesus Christ. And there are also creatures in the air. So when Papa used to say my ministry is in the atmosphere, it was only then that I understood what it means to have a ministry in the atmosphere. Then immediately after that, I was shown now the 7 spirits of God as now kingdoms. And then he said that, I did not call you guys to preach. I did not call you guys to go out and minister. That wave came. I've called you guys to have dominion. And he said, thou shalt have dominion. Thou shalt have dominion. And thou shalt have dominion. And then the man of God asked me, son, would you like to keep these lenses that you have now? Or would you want me to give you another lens? And I said, I need it. Then he gave me the other lens. And then I was taken into another realm beyond that. And that's the realm where the affairs of the world were discussed. And that realm is where the fate of humanity decoded in civilizations were discussed. So where we are currently, what is the next 5 years? What is the next 10 years? I just want to thank God for not just the life of our Papa, but I want to thank God for the sacrifices that he has made.
Upcoming conferences with the Bondservant of Christ, John, Roar for New Zealand, 22nd to the 23rd of August 2025. Venue, Sir Wolf Fisher Arena. Located at the Dewdrop Event Centre in Manukau, Auckland, New Zealand. 770 Great South Road, Wiri, Manukau, Auckland. 2104, New Zealand. To register, kindly scan the QR code on the screen, which will lead you to eventfinder.co.nz or visit our website www.spiritrevelation.church.org/events/new-Zealand-conference.
International Ministers Conference, the 14th to the 17th of August 2025. Venue, 284 Voortrekker Road, Maitland, Cape Town, South Africa. To register, visit our website, www.spiritrevelationchurch.org/events, or scan the QR code on the screen, which will take you to our Eventbrite page.
The Book of Revelation Bible School. 3 days of revelatory depth into the final scroll. Dates, 11th to the 13th of August, 2025. Morning session, 9 a.m. and evening session, 6 p.m. Venue, 284 Voortrekker Road, Maitland, Cape Town, South Africa. To register, visit our website, www.spiritrevelationchurch.org/events, or scan the QR code on the screen, which will take you to our Eventbrite page.
See you there, and see you in the realms.